pretty is really boring. It's just boring. I know that sounds bad, but like the only way that I was able to enter into this chapter of my life where I was beautifying myself was for God to reveal to me that there was some greater purpose for beauty. There's no other way that I would have even attempted to up level or transform myself. There's no way, because I knew that prettiness is boring. It gives you a lot of headaches. It attracts a lot of unwanted attention and unnecessary involvement from people you didn't ask for it from. That make any sense? Today I want to talk about my story, how I came to the realization that I needed to take my appearance more seriously from a spiritual standpoint. If you had caught me 5 years ago and told me that there was some kind of spiritual importance to being beautiful, I would have just laughed in your face and walked away. For me, things like beauty, things like what we now refer to as femininity, even relationships, to me were all just things that slowed you down, that held you back from accomplishing the purposes of God. They were just distractions, unnecessary. Well, if you were born beautiful, good for you, but that's not really important. I'd rather be regular. And I mean that because I used to say to myself, man, I'm so glad I'm not pretty. I remember saying to myself in middle school, man, I'm so happy I'm not pretty. Why was I saying that? Well, children. It all started in elementary school, actually. I was always the girl who the most popular and the prettiest girl would befriend. I was always the friend of the pretty, popular girl. Now, I wasn't a public friend. I wasn't pretty enough to be a public friend. Yes, I was that. I wouldn't say fat, ugly best friend or whatever. What's that? I don't know what but I wasn't fat, but I just was not considered attractive. So I was not the public friend. I was the down low friend. I was the friend that was only your friend after school hours when everyone had been picked up. Then I was your friend. Then I was your best buddy. Why was I that? Well, me being unattractive was non-threatening, number one. Number two, I usually didn't want anything from these girls. That was partly also my personality. I just wasn't interested in superficial things. I wasn't interested in clout. And so I would find that the most popular or the prettiest girls would always confide in me. They would always open up to me about all of their problems, issues, dilemmas. They liked to talk to me because, quite frankly, I was a good listener. I don't even think I said anything. I think I just listened. And this common reoccurrence in my life throughout grade school, it taught me something about being pretty, and it taught me something about being popular. It wasn't as great as it looked. A lot of these girls would tell me the downsides of being considered pretty in school or being the popular one. All types of rumors would be started about them because people wanted to be connected to them somehow. They would get all kinds of unwanted attention from boys they were not interested in, who also usually were the ones starting rumors. And, they were constantly having to live up to the ideal that other people put onto them. Imagine that. Imagine living a life not the way that you want to, but to meet expectations that others have of you. I'm sure that there's many different iterations of this, and probably some that I even lived myself, but it's just very strange when people just look at you. If someone says, well, I expect you to be the best at school or the best in sports, that would require you to assess to some level their ability to do well in academics or sports, their athletic ability. But imagine somebody having such high expectations for you just based on what they see. Like they don't even know who you are past your face. It was a very strange and disturbing thing for me to find out that being attractive wasn't actually attractive to me as a lifestyle. So yes, when I was younger, I used to say, well, thank goodness I'm not pretty. That was reinforced in many different ways, which I won't bore you with the details of, but let's just say I was never asked out to a dance, never to a prom, nothing. A school dance, didn't matter what grade. Okay, sorry for the change in position. I had to check on some noise in the background. And I apologize for any baby noises in the background. Once again, people in our pool who don't live here making noises. One day I'll move. Now let's fast forward to college. College was where things started to change. I don't know when. I feel like I look the same as I did back in middle school, quite frankly. The same size even. But something changed in college. I don't know, maybe it's the move. You know, I did move from California, love, to Oklahoma. I don't know if that move had something to do with the change, although I think things even started to change a little bit at the end of high school, so I don't know what it is. Maybe my face, I don't know what happened. But by the time I reached college, I suddenly was getting attention that I wasn't used to, not at all. I mean, to the point that people would compliment me and I would just stare at them. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. And I'd be like, I was too confused to even realize that I didn't say thank you. Like, I didn't even receive the compliment. How rude, you know? And they would say I was rude, right? Because this is the South. They'll just tell you, aren't you gonna say thank you? And it just didn't dawn on me to even say thank you because I was still trying to like do the mental mathematics of how in the world am I the pretty one now? That's weird. Yeah, things got really weird in college. And because I went to a prophetic school, I didn't just say Christian school, I went to a prophetic school. Our faculty was next level at times, okay? And particularly the dean of my department was a very forward person. I remember one time she pulled me into her office. These are her actual words. She goes, "You know you're pretty, right? You need to ask God what that's for." And then she sent me out of her office. It was so strange. I just like backed out of her office. Like, did I do something wrong? Imagine being called into your dean's office. That was probably the peak of weirdness in college. I will never forget that conversation because it wasn't a conversation. I didn't get a word. Well, I don't take it lightly when strange things like this happen, especially when they involve God. When she said, you know, you need to ask God what that's for, I actually did. I did ask God, okay, God, if they're saying that I have some kind of attractiveness, then what is that for? Like, what is attractiveness? Like, I didn't even know what attractiveness or beauty was for, generally speaking. Like, I didn't know what that was. I said my little prayer. I left it alone. Still didn't really feel pretty, but I mean, I could see kind of, sorta, maybe that people could see me as attractive at times. I don't know. That's where I was. I'm just trying to be honest with you because I think that there are probably gonna be women out there who can identify. We might be a small cohort of women who just chucked the possibility of being beautiful to the side at a young age and thought we were just gonna have nice, enjoyable, average lives. And that was me. And I know I'm not even looking my best today because I'm sweating cats and, is sweating cats and dogs a phrase? I don't think. Well, excuse my appearance. I'm speaking to those women who have had to digest their beauty as they've gotten older. I'm also speaking to those women who still are in that place where they don't see their beauty. That's what I really hope this channel helps women do, is see that they have so many different areas of their being that are beautiful, that God has made gorgeous. Not because some standard, not because some magazine tells you, but because that's how he's actually made you as a woman. So we're moving from college and we're gonna fast forward to when I lived overseas. I moved to Ukraine. I know. I moved to Ukraine, and don't ask me what I was doing in Ukraine. That's a whole nother video story. This was very interesting. I was a girl who had chucked any interest in my physical appearance to the side in the midst of a culture where women were wearing fully floral ankle-length dresses with lace trimmings and red lipstick and, jewelry and nails always done, shoes matching their dress colors, matching their hat, matching their blazer. I mean, femininity to the umph degree. Some people might say it was too much, but this was the culture. Now, this may not have been the culture all over Ukraine, maybe just in the little place that I was, but in the little countryside of Ukraine that I was staying in, I was constantly seeing women put so much effort into their appearance. And yet, they were women of purpose. They all had their ministries, they all had their nonprofits, the things that they were doing. Their skills were being used, their talents, their gifts, always in a good mood. Their grooming, their self-care routine would put the average feminine American woman to shame, to shame, to shame. And yet, fully operating in their gifts, their purpose, their skills, deeply rooted in their faith, spirit-filled, dynamic personality, looking to the next task, who they can help, who they can inspire. And I just looked at these women in awe, still not really seeing myself as possibly becoming something like that, but being amidst women like that for literally 7 months of my life had a huge impact on my appreciation for womanhood, especially and particularly Christian womanhood. I saw that there were so many different ways to display the excellence of God. It didn't just have to be in accomplishing your purpose, but also in the way that you presented yourself, the way that you spoke and treated other people. I saw that it could be inside and out. I saw that God's excellence was not just about what you could do and how well you could do it, but God's excellence could be in your very being and how that being affects everything and everyone around you. God's excellence was not just inside, but outside. Curious thing, I don't think I connected the dots quite then, but I do think it was strategic of God to have me in this place, surrounded by these types of women, so that by osmosis, I was learning something that I guess I'm using now in my videos. So there was that. This was also the time that God started to speak to me about Esther. It was just a passing thought, really. It was just something that kind of came to my mind as I descended stairs or was brushing my teeth or something. How amazing is it that a woman's beauty could save a nation? A woman's beauty? And it was just a thought. I didn't really think too deeply on it. I did go back and read Esther again, and some things came to mind. And it would continue to come to mind. I moved to the UK. I lived there for about 1.5 to 2 years. Again, I did not put that much effort into my appearance, didn't really care. But again, I was living in London and I worked in Green Park, I think is what it was, Green Park. Again, I was surrounded by people who put a great deal of effort into their appearance. This was just strange to me. I just thought it's just such a waste of money. Spending their entire paychecks to get a nice pair of sneakers or a nice purse, like what? But do you know what I realized? If I upgraded any piece of my wardrobe, the general response I got completely changed. And this was the first time that I realized that your appearance is a form of communication. Whether you like it or not, whether it's fair or it's not, I now view appearance as a form of communication. It is just like me talking to you right now. It is just like me gesturing to you or having a facial expression or body language. Appearance, your physical appearance, how you present yourself, what you put on your body, is a type of communication before you even open your mouth. So the first thing that you say is not actually the first word that comes out of your mouth. And I learned that in London. I realized why people spent so much to get that nice handbag or those nice shoes or those nice shades or that nice coat. It said something about them to the world without them having to say something. And trust me, in the UK, there are many a times where you will not be able to say anything. On the tube, there were times where the entire cart was in complete silence. And you would just sit there. Some people were reading, some people were just kind of sitting there. But as you look around the cart, you're getting a message about each and every person without anybody talking or gesturing. Trust me when I say a Brit has mastered the art of the poker face. You will get no expressions to let you know who that person really is. So how do you get to know someone immediately? Their shoes, their coat, their bag, their glasses. Not to mention that that society is very classist. So there you go. Then a tragedy happened in my life, and I'll probably go into that in a different video. And it was like all of these experiences that I had gone through from elementary school all the way up until I was living in London. All of these situations suddenly connected, and I understood. Even the tragedy, which again I'll talk about in a different video, opened my eyes to the importance of appearance, and that it wasn't superficial importance, and that it wasn't nothing, and that it wasn't to be ignored. I mean, look at the earth that God created. He could have made it all one color. Everything could be brown. Everything could be beige. Everything could be blue. But he chose to beautify it, to array it in multiple different hues and shades. He chose to make everything beautiful. Why? Because it was unimportant? Because it was to be ignored? Why would he spend the time? Why different animals? Why not just the same animal with different functions? Why variety? Why design? Why details? And these were some of the questions that led me to the conclusion that God has need of beauty. He has need for us to appreciate the beauty that he's put into our world, to appreciate the beauty that he's put into ourselves, our bodies, and every feature that he's put on our bodies. And he has need of us to understand its function in the world. And there is a function of beauty. And maybe I'll do another video on what the functions of beauty are. If you're curious, you can get a lot of that from my video on Esther's beauty, and I'll just leave that up here somewhere or down in the description. I don't know. I'll leave it somewhere. You'll find it. There's a function to beauty. There's a purpose for it. It is not to be ignored. It is not to be tossed to the side like I did for so many years. It is to be used as a tool. And the reason why it's to be used as a tool is because if you don't use it will use you. And don't think because you don't pay attention to it, it will not use you. All those times that I neglected my appearance, I was saying something to the world that I didn't intend to say. My negligence of my appearance was using me. But when I realized that beauty is a tool, then I began to master beauty. I began to subdue beauty, which is our mandate on the earth, to subdue the earth. Hello, your body is made of the earth. Your flesh and the earth are the same. If he said subdue the earth, your body is included. I was not subduing the earth by ignoring my beauty. It's like allowing your garden to run wild or your dog to go around biting people. In fact, let me pull up that scripture. I need to figure out what that actually says. Genesis 1:28. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. using all its vast resources in the service of God and man, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and over every living creature that moves upon the earth. If there's one thing, if there's one message that I would like to convey in this video today, is that your beauty is included in that subduing. Your beauty, your appearance, your body, what goes on it and in it, is a part of the earth you need to subdue. Me neglecting my appearance was me neglecting that original commandment. That was a commandment. That was not a suggestion. I don't see anywhere where it said, hey, it would be my suggestion if you feel like it, be fruitful, if you want to multiply, and if it behooves you, fill the earth and subdue it. But only if you feel like it. I don't think that's not what it says. I'm sorry. God blessed them. It says that he blessed them before he even gave them the commandment. He blessed them and he gave them what they needed in order to subdue the earth. He gave them the tools. And as long as they kept their focus on subduing the earth, they were fine. But you see, as soon as they switched their focus, the earth, whether it be the snake or the forbidden fruit, began to subdue them. Do not let your beauty or your negligence of your appearance subdue you. It is not your master. You are its master. Rather than allowing thoughts of, well, I'm not that pretty, and I'm not like one of these supermodels, and I don't look like that girl over there, or somebody else is gonna be prettier than me, dictate to you what you're gonna wear that day. And don't pretend like it doesn't happen. It happened to me years ago. Not many years ago, but years ago. I would think, oh, well, there's prettier people at church. I don't need to put in that much effort. I'm just an average girl. I don't look like everyone else. I'll just put on this t-shirt. My negligence of my appearance was subduing me. It was telling me what I should wear. It was telling me how I should show up. It was telling me what my worth and value was. I was being subdued by my lack of mastery over my appearance, over my beauty. And that is really the message. Right now, this channel is really about uncovering the power of womanhood that God has already blessed us with. He's already blessed us with the tools we need to subdue, to be fruitful, to multiply. He's already blessed us. We don't have to go looking. It's here. And that's what I hope that I'm able to convey. I really hope that I'm able to inspire, assist, if I might, in the smallest of ways, assist the Holy Spirit in peeling scales off of these beautiful women who are listening to this. Perhaps you beautiful men, if you're out there, handsome men. Peel the scales off so that you can see your own blessing, your own beauty. It is important. It is important. If you don't use it, it will use you. If you don't dictate to it, it will dictate to you. Again, this was not supposed to be a sermon. This is not I'm not a preacher. I'm not a theologian. Please take everything. I know I'm very impassioned when I speak, but please take everything I say back to the Lord. I'm not even going to say with a grain of salt. Just take it back to the Lord and ask him what in this is for me. Because not everything will be for you. There may be many, many things. There may be most things, right, that aren't for you. But if there's one thing, I encourage you to ask God, what's for me? And how do I pursue it? How do I go after it? How do I incorporate it into my Christian walk, my Christian journey? My dream is to see a bunch of confident, beautiful Christian women, just like those women I saw in Ukraine. It makes me sad what's happened to Ukraine, but I'm so thankful I got the opportunity to see what I saw, to be in the midst of what I was in the midst of while I could. Each one of those women inspired me to convey this message. Though Ukraine has been scattered, I hope to gather a cohort of Christian women who know their beauty and they're not afraid of it, and they know how to use it for the glory. What does this say? What does the scripture say? Using all its vast resources in the service of God and man. I pray for women who love what God has blessed them with and know how to use it for His glory. I hope that something I said in this video resonated with you, and I hope that it inspired you to be the best women that God has intended for you to be. So thank you so much for joining me here on my channel, Lily of the Field. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Please like it, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if anything stuck with you, really resonated with you. If you have a different viewpoint on it, I would love to hear. And share with any woman that you think needs inspiration in this area. And until next time, have a blessed day. Bye.